Brinyte is a brand that I had honestly never heard of before this video, but they recently reached out to me and asked if I would like to review the PT18Pro flashlight. This is a more premium and serious tactical light, coming in at $130, so I certainly had high expectations going into this review. Overall, I have to say that while the light is not perfect, it is very good and makes a strong case for itself in this price range. If you are looking for a quality tactical light, this is a great option, though if you're looking for more general purpose light, this is probably one to skip. Before the review starts, I need to clarify that Brinyte has provided me with an affiliate code, which you can use to save some money on any of their products. Usage of this code will provide me with a small amount of revenue, so you can assume as much bias as you like, but it won't really affect this review. The PT18Pro is an extremely well-built flashlight. It measures 16.4 centimeters long, and the head is 4.1 centimeters wide, while the body is 2.5 centimeters wide. Being made of aluminum, it weighs only 170 grams without the battery. The light carries the standard IPX8 waterproof rating and a 1 meter drop rating. The tail cap is nicely knurled and features 2 grooves that allow the rear grip ring to be installed in either preferred orientation. The ring is very secure and does not wiggle at all, and I really appreciate the fact that the threads have been properly machined to allow the tail cap to align with the head at a 90-degree angle. There is also a grip ring on the body that allows for a cigar-style grip, and which acts as a roll stop. This ring is not threaded and depends on a pressure fit with the other ring to remain firmly in place. This ring can be easily removed if desired. The tail cap features 2 separate buttons, an E-switch used for strobe and mode selection, and another forward clicky that is hardwired for turbo. Because of this, the interior of the light uses a dual tube design, with the outer tube having thick, square-cut threads that are not anodized, while the inner tube carries the current for the tail switches and is anodized. This means that the tail cap switches can be physically locked out, but the light itself cannot be. On the head is the third switch, another E-switch with a stainless surround and an aluminum cover. Opposite this is a small circular magnetic charging port. The 2 tail switches are very easy to differentiate from each other by feel, which is important. The head switch is easy to find and press, but it both looks and feels very similar to the charging port, so the two can be confused. At the front of the head is a stainless steel crenulated bezel. This bezel threads between 2 sections of the head, so the light still looks quite nice when it is removed, which doesn't affect functionality really, but I just appreciate this aspect. There's a large piece of hardened mineral crystal glass, which has a very good anti-reflective coating. Below is a beautiful smooth aluminum reflector and a Cree XHP35 HD LED. The whole head assembly is very clean and well built. Overall, the build of this light is really good, and it feels great in the hand. Everything is very well machined, with smooth edges, and the anodizing on the body looks and feels great while being durable. The threads are smooth and tight, and the knurled portions feel very nice. I have no doubt that this light can withstand some pretty serious abuse, and it is one of the highest quality lights I've used. The light comes with a pretty nice assortment of extras that are worth mentioning here. Included is, of course, the magnetic charger, which has a high quality braided cable and metal connectors. There's also a pretty well made holster, with an interesting rotating belt loop and elastics for carrying extra batteries. The light is available with either 1 or 2 3100 mAh protected 18650 cells in the box. It also includes a rather nice lanyard. In my opinion, the interface is one of the most critical components of any flashlight, and is especially important in a light designed for tactical use. The interface must be fast and easy to use while providing the desired light. It absolutely should not be complicated, confusing, or distracting, and must be reliable. Normally, I like an interface that provides a lot of options in terms of output and usage, but tactical lights should emphasize simplicity and speed. The PT18Pro is a very interesting light when it comes to the interface. At first glance, the light seems quite complicated, but it's actually pretty straightforward, and most importantly, the critical functions are extremely easy to understand and use. The light possesses 3 different buttons, 1 on the head and 2 on the tail. The tail switches are hardwired to provide the same predictable function every time they're pressed, and are easy to find and easy to differentiate. The main forward clicky switch always activates the light to turbo, while the secondary switch will provide a momentary strobe function when pressed from off. While the light is on, pressing either the secondary rear switch or the head side switch will change the brightness levels, and pressing and holding either switch will activate the strobe mode. If the light is turned on with the head switch and the main tail switch is then pressed, it will again jump to turbo. These 2 buttons are exactly what they should be and work as expected. In my humble opinion, this setup is ideal for tactical use, and I like it very much. Unfortunately, while a great idea in theory, the third switch on the head is not quite as well implemented. While off, pressing this switch turns the light on to the last used mode, and each consecutive press cycles through the brightness levels. Pressing and holding from off will turn the light on to low mode. While on, pressing and holding for 1 second turns the light back off. This switch can also be used to cycle the brightness while the main tail switch is on. I would have preferred the long press be used to cycle the brightness and a simple click to turn the light off. But supposedly this UI was chosen to prevent accidentally turning the light off with a bump, which is respectable. And this light is just as easy to use, if a bit less intuitive and familiar for me. However, one of the features intended to prevent accidental activation has unfortunately made this button far too inconvenient to use most of the time. If the light is left off for more than 1 minute, it will enter lockout mode, in which the side switch does not function. A quick triple tap will exit lockout, after which the light will blink twice and turn off, and another press is required to turn the light on. I found this just too fiddly, and it takes much too long for the light to exit lockout and actually be usable for my liking. I really think Brinyte was onto something here with this interface, and the tail switch implementation is perfect. However, I think the side switch implementation is flawed, and this is definitely a big gripe I have with the light. If only there was an option to deactivate the auto lockout function, I would appreciate this light that much more. The side switch on the head does possess a small LED that indicates the battery status, both when the light is locked out and when it is charging. I always appreciate a locator LED on flashlights, so while the lockout is annoying, I do appreciate the side switch indicator. The good news is that the charging function works extremely well. The magnetic charger attaches easily and immediately begins charging the light with no issues, and it's just super convenient. On one hand, I don't like proprietary chargers, but on the other, I do like magnetic systems for their simplicity and the durability of the connector, so overall I like this system. As a final note, when connected to the charger, the light will actually work without a battery installed, which is very cool. Given the larger reflector, this flashlight has an intense, throwy beam that remains well balanced, with lots of useful spill. This is, in my opinion, a fantastic beam profile, and is one of this light's biggest selling points. I measured it at 41,750 candela, which will provide 409 meters of throw. The hotspot is intense and nicely defined, with a wide, soft corona that has a sharp edge, and the spill is wide enough to provide good area lighting. The beam is decently clean and evenly lit, with a small amount of tint shift mainly in the corona and in the very center of the hotspot. The LED used is a first-generation Cree XHP35 HD in cool white, which produces a cool white beam at around 6000K once tint shift is taken into account. Brinyte doesn't state the exact temperature they're using, but I assume it's a 6500K emitter. This LED is not high CRI, instead designed for high efficiency and output. Personally, I do prefer a high CRI LED with the warmer color, but I do believe that tactical style lights benefit more from a higher output, and most people prefer cooler temperatures anyway, so I think the emitter was well chosen, particularly for the output it provides. However, the XHP35 HD is not well known for its color, in that it tends to exhibit strong tint shift and some ringing, so do be aware of this. This flashlight is very bright on its turbo output, producing an impressive 2000 lumens for around a minute before stepping down to 1500 lumens. This will run for another minute or so before the level drops to a respectable 620 lumens. This step down is purely timed, so unfortunately there is no intelligent temperature control here, which is a shame in a light of this price. On the upside though, this does mean you can re-obtain the maximum level after stepping down by simply turning the light down and back up again. The lower modes are well balanced, and every mode is well regulated throughout their run times. Heat management is also pretty good. The head of the light is large enough that it doesn't get too hot while in usage. There is no ultra low here, which may be disappointing to some, but it's important that such a mode doesn't get in the way while using a tactical light, and I don't really think it has a place here. There is no visible PWM that I could find. This is a fairly expensive light, coming in with an MSRP of $130, though one should take into account the variety of accessories that come with it. Still, at that price, I expect a very good flashlight with great build quality and performance. I would say that the Brinyte PT18Pro does fulfill those criteria, and there is no doubt that this is a high quality light. However, the auto lockout feature alone is an issue for me, and I hesitate to recommend this light because of it. Honestly, the PT18Pro is not a super competitive light, simply because of its price tag. I would say that it earns that price with premium build quality, features, and accessories, but it's not a shining value proposition like many of the other lights I've reviewed. Granted, it still presents a much better price to performance than lights coming from brands like Surefire, but I don't know if I will be recommending it as often to others. Certainly though, if you can afford this light and it fills a need for you, then I can't say it is a very good tool and won't let you down. I will also happily admit that I find this flashlight quite a bit of fun to just play around with. I love this form factor and beam profile, and the output is impressive. If you are interested in this light, I do have a discount code that you can apply to save 10% on your purchase. It should work for this and any other Brinyte product, and I will earn commission off of it, so you'll help support the channel by using it, which is cool. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and if you have any feedback, please leave a comment down below. I can't think of anything else to say, so I'll see you in the next video.